often dubbed Britain's Roswell, where an alleged UFO encounter occurred in December of 1980. United States Air Forcemen would give statements of viewing a craft landing and seeing strange lights. Was it a government cover-up? A hoax? The beams from the nearby lighthouse? Or a fireball that streaked through the English sky? Join us today as we discuss the history, mystery, and conspiracy of the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Alright everyone, welcome back to
Unknown,
Unsolved,
Unseen,
Triple U.
Woohoo!
Yay, Christmas time, December.
Jingle bells, something, something, something. Woo!
You actually know the lyrics to Jingle Bells?
I don't like copyright.
That's fair.
Suck it, copyright.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
Do you have any announcements for us?
Well, first off, I want to say I am your holly jolly host, Frank.
I don't know.
You say Christmas, there's so many Christmas. You could be, I'm your merry ho sage. I'm your ho 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 Santa Claus sage, or I'm just ho 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 sage.
I'm not going to call myself ho 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 sage. I don't know that that's appropriate.
You're Mary Berry, you're Christmassy, you're joyful. I mean, you have a joyful face on right now.
What's a Christmas word that starts with S?
Snowy Santa-y.
I'm a snowy ghost sage.
Okay. Serendipitous, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's a Christmas word, but
No, I don't think it is, but that's okay. Do you have announcements for us?
No, not really. Just
Okay.
Actually, we're going to try and do some video stuff in the next year, so keep an eye out on that, gang. Thank you for checking out our Spotify Wrapped. If you guys saw our Instagram post this past week, really thankful for all the support you guys have given us recently. This year was an amazing year for growth. We would love to see it keep going. This past week has also been a great week, and we want to keep seeing every other week be just like that. So thank you very much, everyone, for all the support you've given us. Additionally, I want to apologize for last week's episode. There had been a lot of static halfway through, and that did a very poor job of having a proper recording. We also did a poor job on the research for the one guy who seems to be, from what I found through some looking in, a lot of people believe he is the culprit of the background of the Georgia Guidestones, and he did it heavily based on his beliefs of eugenics, specifically of minorities. So I apologize for not covering that fully and for the audio issues.
Okay.
Now, in the season of giving, here is some gift. It is a trailer from one of our friends, Ollie Jolly, Jingle Jangle, Kris Kringle. Here's an ad.
Hey, he's Kian.
And she's Em.
And together we're the hosts of Do You Dare. So, Do You Dare is our podcast where we discuss all things true crime,
All things paranormal.
and all things history, mystery, and beyond.
Plus, don't forget the aliens.
Oh, that's silly of me. How could I forget those?
We're just two British siblings with mics, hoping to bring some spooky, some twisted, and some downright sinister to your ears.
If you like what you're listening to right now, type in Do You Dare into wherever you get your podcasts and join us as we delve into all things dark and spine-tingling with our customary British flair.
Come join the dark side. If you dare.
And thank you for taking a listen to that.
That was such a stupid introduction, but yet I love it.
I was just like, what Christmas descriptive words could I keep just piling on one after another?
Oh my gosh.
So where are we heading today, Sage?
Well, today I'm going to be taking us across the pond to Suffolk, England.
Across the pond?
That was a terrible accent, but yes.
I can't do accents to save my life. But
Yeah.
we're off to England?
Yep.
The British, isn't it?
On a Tuesday.
Shout out to our British friends at Do You Dare podcast. Not making fun of you guys. I'm just making fun of the general British population because I like to make fun of the general British population. It's just an American thing we do, okay? It's like making fun of the people of Ohio. You guys don't get it yet, but eventually you'll learn you just got to make fun of people from Ohio.
Okay. I don't believe that there's any like genuine trigger warnings that I need to share about.
UFO trigger warning. Ooh. Oh, I didn't even ask what the case is. I mean, I know what it is because I recommended it to you.
Yeah.
So what's the case today, Sage?
Today, we're talking about the Rendlesham Forest Incident, which is obviously a UFO encounter.
For how big of this one is, I'm going to be honest, I don't know like much about it because I typically don't care about this one.
Why?
I don't know. It just never, jumped out to me. I like stuff like the Roswell, Lonnie Zamora, Cusack, Carbondale.
Well, this is considered Britain's Roswell.
Okay, everybody has their Roswell. Kecksburg is Pennsylvania's Roswell. This is England's Roswell.
Well, I think if it's a country's Roswell, that's a little bit more than a state.
Everybody has their own Roswell. Y'all need your own Roswell nowadays. Back in my day, we only needed a Roswell's Roswell.
All right, so we're in Suffolk, England. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. There's going to probably be times where I don't pronounce things right. But
Suffolk?
Sure.
It's definitely not pronounced
that way.
It's
Suffolk. We're on one cold, likely rainy, just because it was Britain, but I don't actually know if it was raining.
Wow. Wow, I can't make fun of the British being like, yeah, it always rains there 24/7 because you're a British expert over here.
Yeah. Well, I was a really, really big fan of One Direction, and 4 of them are British, so...
How many are there?
5. One of them was...
Oh, I thought there were only 4 of them.
No, one of them, Niles from Ireland. Okay, anyway. On a day in December...
Bunch of weirdos.
Yeah. A day in December of 1980, the town would experience something that would change the rest of their lives.
Do tell what happened.
Well, before I get into the actual incident, I'm going to provide some background on the location, which is the Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England.
Is it a forest?
It is indeed.
Oh man, I am on a roll today.
Yeah, it's 5.8 square miles of coniferous plantations interspersed with broad-leaved belts, heathland, and wetland areas.
5.8 square miles?
Yeah.
That's not big.
No. What? Do you know what a coniferous plantation is?
Coniferous plants? Yeah.
Is it like, what is it?
Conifers?
So like trees?
You know what type of trees are conifer trees?
Pine trees?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not a plant expert.
I'm not a plant expert either, but I felt like that one was an easy one.
All right, whatever. It is owned by the Forestry Commission, which is a non-ministerial government department responsible for the management of publicly owned forests and the regulation of both public and private forestry in England. It is located in the county of Suffolk, so the forest is in the county of Suffolk, England, and contains part of a former military base and is bordered by another. The first is the RAF Bentwaters, or Royal Air Force Bentwaters Base, which is about 80 miles northeast of London and located near Woodbridge, Suffolk in England, and it's located just north on the outskirts of the forest. Its namesake is that of 2 cottages that were known as Bentwaters Cottages that had originally been where the base's main runway was put in during its construction in 1943. This base was used by the Royal Air Force during the Second World War, and then by the United States Air Force during the Cold War, being the primary home for the 81st Fighter Wing under various designations from 51 to 93, and at the time of the incident, the base was under the command of the U.S. Air Force. The other base within the property is that of the Royal Air Force Woodbridge, which has also been used by the 81st Fighter Wing, and this is the one that extends into the forest from the west and is bounded by the forest on the base's northern and eastern edges. The RAF Woodbridge was also constructed in 1943 during the Second World War by the Royal Air Force to assist damaged aircraft to land on their return from raids over Germany, and then it was later used by the United States Air Force during the Cold War and was the primary home for the 79th and 78th Tactical Fighter Squadrons and also the squadrons of the 81st Fighter Wing that were under various designations until 93. Americans often referred to these airfields as the twin bases when they were in use by the U.S. Air Force. So like I said, at the time of the Rendlesham incident, the bases were being used by the U.S. Air Force and were under the command of Wing Commander Colonel Gordon E. Williams. The base commander was Colonel Ted Conrad, and his deputy was Lieutenant Colonel Charles I. Holt. He is going to be a main character in our story here.
Ooh, foreshadowing.
Yes. So while this is called Britain's Roswell, it's mostly Americans that viewed it.
Hell yeah, reverse colonization of the UK.
Sure. So the events of Rendlesham Forest Incident took place within the forest, which starts at the east end of the RAF Woodbridge runway, or about 0.3 miles to the east of the east gate of the base. I know that was probably hard to understand. It's 0.3 miles from the east gate, east entrance to this base, okay, within the forest.
All right.
Because Woodbridge is the...
Sorry.
Woodbridge is the base that extends into the forest.
Okay.
Around 0300 military time, so 3 a.m., on December 26th, 1980, a security patrol near the east gate of the RAF Woodbridge saw lights, apparently descending into the nearby Rendlesham Forest. The servicemen initially thought that it was a downed aircraft, and went into the forest to investigate. As they ventured into the forest, though, their radios began to malfunction. The officers decided to spread out and form a communication relay chain, with one officer, Airman First Class Edward Kabensag, staying closest to the base to maintain contact with the base and with the search party. As they made their way through the trees, sudden jolts of electricity made the hairs on their arms and necks rise. Soon their footsteps became slow and heavy, as if they were making their way through water. As the servicemen came up to a clearing, they witnessed a glowing object that was metallic in appearance with red and blue colored lights. One witness reported that, quote, the animals on a nearby farm went into a frenzy at the commotion of this object.
Did it look like an acorn?
No.
Kecksburg Superior, still only acorn craft we have.
Yeah. A check with the control tower at the RAF Bentwaters confirmed that the radar had picked up an unknown object about 15 minutes prior. One of the servicemen, Sergeant Jim Peniston, later claimed to have encountered a, quote, craft of unknown origin while he was in the forest. He described it as a small, metallic, triangular craft with tripod-like legs resting quietly on the ground. The object was roughly 10 feet wide and just as tall, and appeared to have a form of hieroglyphics along the side. He did actually sketch what he saw, including the strange symbols. And reportedly he even got close enough to touch the craft. It felt smooth like glass and sent some electricity racing through his hand to his forearm, likely meaning the craft was charged in some type of way or had some type of power going through it.
That's interesting.
Although there was no publicized mention of this at the time, and there is no corroboration from other witnesses that the craft did any of the things that Peniston said it did. The encounter is said to have lasted about 45 minutes, and then a white light glowed at the apex of the craft, and it, quote, blasted off and into the night. The local police were quickly called, which was interesting to me, and I could be wrong here. Why would they call the local police if they're literally on a military base?
I'm assuming you want local law enforcement involved on something like this. Unless you're trying to cover it up, then I probably wouldn't get them involved. Like, okay. They also can't act necessarily as law enforcement in another country.
Well, I guess that's fair. Because I was thinking, isn't there the marshals or something?
That's in America.
Yeah, that's law enforcement. That's in the military.
No, that's military police.
Yeah.
Marshals are different.
U.S. Marshals?
Yeah.
What are they?
They're the U.S. Marshals.
I'm pretty sure they're police.
They're police, but I don't think they're Army police. Army police, I believe, are military police officers, MPs.
Okay.
Are you Googling it right now?
Yeah.
Watch as I'm right.
Neither of us are right.
What?
Air Force police are called security forces, often nicknamed defenders, and are responsible for law enforcement and base security.
Okay.
But they've also been known as the air police or security police.
Okay, but you're only looking at Air Force.
Well, this is an Air Force base.
Okay, but I mean,
I don't care about the other one.
I'm thinking I'm still have some right. I'm pretty sure they're labeled typically military police, though. MPs.
Okay, I don't know.
Hey, you're the one who started this.
Anyway.
Not me.
So
that was you.
The local police were called around 0400, so 4 a.m. This is about an hour.
Oh, you're using military time now.
Well, I feel like I have to. It would be
Fancy.
a disservice. But they were called about an hour after the first sighting of this was initially seen, and they arrived on the scene very shortly after. Though nothing really came from this, though as the police reported that the only lights that they could see were from the Orford Ness Lighthouse, which was a few miles away on the coast. And for what it's worth, the Orford Ness Lighthouse had a light range of 25 nautical miles at the time of the sighting. It was the brightest lighthouse in England at the time. So the police are saying that's what they saw. So they were unable to corroborate any of the evidence that the servicemen, from the servicemen's testimonies.
Out to the lighthouse. Do you wonder if it's haunted?
Maybe.
This is our third lighthouse mention, actually.
The servicemen returned to the base and spoke with the deputy base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles I. Holt, who urged them to write about it in the security blotter as, quote, unexplained lights. So I think the security blotter is just like a security log.
Probably, by what you're saying.
Yeah. After the sun rose a few hours later, so that same morning of December 26th, the servicemen who witnessed the lights a few hours earlier returned to the small clearing near the eastern edge of the forest, where they believed to have seen the glowing object had descended to. At the location, they found 3 small impressions on the ground in a triangular pattern, as well as burn marks and broken branches on nearby trees.
Interesting.
Police were again called out to the location around 10:30. How you would say it in? It's not 1030, right?
I have no idea. I'm not a military guy.
All right, it's 10:30.
AM.
Yeah. This time to see the impressions, burn marks, and broken branches. But ultimately, the police...
Yeah, I think it would be 10:30. Sorry, I'm just trying to think.
That's okay. But ultimately, the police again minimized the situation and stated that they thought the prints and the burn marks and the broken branches could have just been made by an animal. Though I didn't find whether or not they had a specific animal in mind that could have made those things.
England is notorious for not having large animals.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they killed them all.
Oh, well, that is exactly what I would imagine England would do. They colonize the animals too. What the fuck?
Yeah, they don't got many big things anymore.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah.
So, 2 days later, the deputy base commander, again, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, visited the site with several of the servicemen on the morning of December 28th. The team left after Holt was interrupted at a Christmas party by an
Christmas mentioned. Woo!
Yeah. By an on-duty police commander stating that, quote, it, referring to the craft, was back, and this individual was white as a ghost. Holt appeared to take this very seriously, and so he left the festivities to investigate the scene, fully expecting to find a logical and realistic explanation for, quote, it. The team took radiation readings in the triangle of depressions in the surrounding area using an AN/PDR-27, which is a standard U.S. military radiation survey meter. They recorded 0.07 milliroentgens per hour in one area. I don't know if I said that right.
I have no idea what those unit measurements mean.
Some kind of unit of radiation. That's minimally above the background level. I read in one source that Britain's Ministry of Defense, which would be like our Department of Defense, stated that it was a significantly higher than average background reading. So I don't actually know what the actual reading level is considered. So to some, that was not that significant. To the Ministry of Defense, it was. In other regions, they detected 0.03 to 0.04 milliroentgens per hour, which is more closely to the background level of radiation that's just around all the time. But did you know that?
That the background radiation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned something new.
But it's not dangerous. Something like 3 Röntgen. There were 15,000 Röntgen is when you get dangerous. I know that just solely from the Chernobyl show. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only know about it in Röntgen. And I think that's the Russian measurements. I have no idea what US is.
Yeah, I don't know. Furthermore, the team had detected another similar small burst over about a half a mile away from the landing site. While testing for radiation in the area of the landing site, the crew would look across the field to the east and see a flashing red light, almost in line with a farmhouse. It appeared to be described as the same as was seen by the servicemen on the night of the early morning of the 26th. In the same line of sight towards the east, the Orford Ness Lighthouse is visible. Skeptics identify this lighthouse as the flashing light seen off the coast by the airmen, and it's about 5 miles further east of the forest edge. And again, at the time, it was one of the brightest lighthouses in the UK. So I'll go more into that later, but it's important to note there that in the direction they were looking would have been the Orford Ness Lighthouse, but they still adamantly confirmed that it's a craft. 2 days after the initial sighting, so that same day that Holt and his crew were going out to look to see what was going on, there was an interesting interaction between 2 unknown suited men and forestry worker Vince Thurkettle. They bombarded him with questions about whether he saw anything on the night in question, which would be the morning of the 26th, and were asking him all about if he had seen anything while he was doing his forestry work. And this is a quote from him. They said, "Did you leave the house at all? Did you see anything?" I said, "What?" They said, "Oh, there's a report of some red lights in the forest. We're just checking." And the 2 of them, very politely but firmly, asked me probably about 20 questions. I thought that they were journalists. They suddenly said, "Oh well, fair enough. There's probably nothing in it," and left. So I bought the papers every day for the next few days to find out what was going on. And of course, there was nothing.
Interesting.
So just a weird little interaction on the outside of this whole situation. It was after this that, when Holt had completed his mission with his crew out there to look at what was going on, that he would write a memo to the Ministry of Defense, or MOD, which if you ask me sounds a lot like the Ministry of Magic.
That's mom.
I know, but just the fact that they call their departments ministries is just giving Harry Potter vibes, which obviously makes sense because Harry Potter takes place in England.
Pretty sure a lot of places actually have it as ministry.
Pretty dope.
We are, I think, weirdos. We got the Department of Defense, or as the fucking chuds call it, the Department of War. That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, I will not be calling it that. Hence why I called it the Department of Defense earlier.
It's DOD, Department of Defense.
It's the DOD.
DOD and the MOD.
Yeah.
DOD and MOD are fighting again.
So Holt wrote this memo detailing what he had saw on the 28th. And this would become the first piece of primary evidence that would be made available to the public and would be known and referred to as the Holt Memo. It was made publicly available to the U.S. under the U.S. Freedom of Information Act in 1983 and had been dated for 2 years prior on January 13th of 1981, or 13 Jan 1981, as the Brits would date it. It was again titled Unexplained Lights, which, if you ask me, is not very creative of a title for his memo, but understandable. The 2-week delay between when the lights were seen and when the report was made could account for any errors in the dates and times given. It was also not classified in any way. What we find out later is that the testimonies of all of the servicemen that saw these things, they get the dates wrong. So some of the dates say it's the 27th, so the date right after the first sighting. Some say it's the 28th.
Okay.
So the what they're saying is the delay in this could account for why the dates were wrong, because he could have forgotten which day it actually was 2 weeks later when he wrote the memo. David Clark, who is a consultant to the National Archives, has investigated the background of this memo and the reaction to it at the mod. His interviews with the personnel involved confirmed the cursory nature of the investigation made by the mod and failed to find any evidence of any other reports on this incident made either by the U.S. Air Force or the British Air Force, the Royal Air Force, apart from the Halt memo. This individual is quoted as saying, quote, "We've reached an impasse. There are those who can only see it in black and white terms. Aliens or people from the future came here. Or it's the skeptical version, that people are lying or they've been misled by ordinary things."
I like the people from the future option. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, like that famous movie, The Man from Pluto.
Hmm?
Remember last night, The Man from Pluto?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Was it Spaceman from Pluto?
Yeah, Spaceman from Pluto.
Oh my god. Yeah, we learned in a little trivia thing that Back to the Future, whenever they were still working on it, it was almost named Spaceman from Pluto. God, what a cult classic, Spaceman from Pluto.
Which doesn't make any sense for any of the storyline. So dumb. Anyway, and to finish his quote off, he says, "The more it's elaborated on, the more that it becomes a legend." Which, fair.
Which is why we're talking about it today.
Yep. Although my next episode will be actual, like, Christmas urban legends.
Ooh, fairy tales and stuff.
Yeah. So, Halt would go on to write in the memo that he witnessed 3 star-like lights, 2 to the north and 1 to the south, about 10 degrees above the horizon. He reported that the brightest of these lights hovered for 2 to 3 hours and, quote, "seemed to beam down a stream of light from time to time."
Interesting.
It's a very long time to watch these lights in the sky. 2 to 3 hours?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How far away?
What do you mean?
How far were these lights?
It didn't say how far away the lights were from him. Just that he saw them.
For 2 to 3 hours and no video or picture evidence.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Halt has since gone on record as saying that he believes he witnessed an extraterrestrial event that was then covered up. This was corroborated by what is referred to as the, quote, Halt tape, and was released to the UFO researchers by Colonel Sam Morgan in 1984. Colonel Morgan at this time had succeeded Ted Conrad as Charles Hart's superior. So at that time, like, Ted Conrad had left the base. There's a new superior there. And
new
he
man in charge.
The whole tape. Yep.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
That's so probably bad. It sounds so stupid, probably.
That's fine.
But hey, this is your part to edit. You have to listen to me go.
I'm gonna leave it in.
I'm
gonna leave it in just because you said that. Can I continue?
Put your arms up. Bang bang, it's robbery. Yes, now you can continue.
Okay. This tape chronicles Halt's investigation in the forest in real time, including taking radiation readings, the sightings of the flashing lights between the trees, and the star-like objects that hovered and twinkled. In his tape, he originally heard nothing, but then animals...
Twinkled?
Yeah.
Twinkled and twinkled?
Little star.
Like a little star? I had to.
Oh my gosh. In his tape, he originally heard nothing but animals from a nearby farm making a racket, but then he would soon see a bright yellowish-orange oval object with a dark center. It was about the size of a beach ball, and it appeared to be shedding sparks or particles.
That's one hot-ass beach ball, if you ask me.
Yeah. He would go on to tell more of his story, stating, "We watched it for maybe a minute or two. It actually came towards us. I said, 'That thing's under intelligent control.' And at first I thought it was a ball of lightning. I'd never seen ball lightning, but I've certainly heard of it. It came into the forest and actually moved through it, horizontally bobbing up and down and zigzagging around trees. So it was obviously controlled somehow or another."
It was just Bob, the ball of lightning. He's just visiting again.
He's just chilling.
He's just chilling. He chill. He good.
Yeah. The object approached the group, and they observed beams of light aiming towards the ground. It got to within about 100 feet, and then as they watched, it silently exploded into 5 pieces that all dispersed in different directions.
So 5 smaller balls from Big Ball.
Yeah. And Holt went on to make a joke stating, "We looked around in the field trying to find any evidence, and all we found were cow pies."
Nice.
Yeah.
Were they alien cow pies?
I don't think so.
Also, guys, if there's any background noise, it's because Atlas is being a little crazy dude now.
Yeah, he'll settle down. As you can imagine, the servicemen, including Holt, wanted this situation to just clear up. I mean, you're members of the United States Air Force. You don't necessarily want to be involved in the conspiracy of a UFO sighting. And Holt's quoted as saying, quote, "This was not career enhancing, believe me."
Oh, yeah, that's a career impediment, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. However, though...
I do like that. He's like, it's not career enhancing.
Yeah.
But, you know...
He's like, I believe what I saw, but it's not career enhancing. I'm not doing this because I thought it was going to make my career better.
I don't think in any world does it actually enhance your career.
Yeah. However, that, wouldn't happen because Rendlesham, of course, never went away. Seeing as we're literally talking about it right now. So, sorry, Holt. By October of 1983, so almost 3 years from the sighting, a small group of UFOologists, that's how you say it, right? Or is it ufologists?
These UFOologists, our friends over at Grimley have an episode where at one point they debate how you say ufologist, ufologist, and stuff like that just for fun.
Go check them out.
It's funny, and I'm like, oh, I've listened to this debate before. If it's ufologist, UFOologist, I'm pretty sure it's UFOologist. It's the only one that actually makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, so a small group of them, whatever we want to call them, had learned about the incident and were obviously intrigued. And so they sold the story to the News of the World, which, if you ask me, is rude as hell, considering it wasn't their fucking story to tell.
Gotta make money where you can, ain't that right, Atlas? Real quick interjection. Sorry if we seem a bit discombobulated. We just paused this for the last, 2 hours? Yeah, something like that. A certain somebody decided to be a little rowdy.
Not me. It was Atlas.
And then we said she went to go pick up the groceries, and they took forever to do that. Then she went to go pick up a pizza from Mod Pizza, which they forgot to make, despite ordering it online.
Yeah. So
it's a day.
Yep. And now he's sleeping next to me underneath my heated blanket.
He's cute. Doesn't matter if it's yours or his. Hopefully we are back where we were, just talking about ufologist, those people.
Yeah.
It might be ufologist.
I don't know. So at the time, this small group of ufologists, whatever, sold the story to the News of the World, which I was stating that that's rude as hell because it's not their story to tell, but whatever.
Oh yeah, make the money.
Yeah. Anyway, this launched Rendlesham Forest Incident into the limelight, and believers, scientists, and skeptics alike began chomping at the bit for more information. But it wouldn't be for a couple years. So, years later, more information would start to come into the light about the incident and how it was handled afterward by the U.S. government. Holt had learned that his memo had been sent the following day, after he wrote it, to the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. After that, Peniston Burroughs, which is another individual who, I didn't mention his name earlier, but he was another serviceman who witnessed the first night, and several other officers involved were, quote, debriefed by government officials. So.
Ooh, that's a bit mysterious.
Yeah, so according to Holt, these men were, quote, drugged and hypnotized and probably given screen memories. Peniston and Burroughs have never been the same.
Oh.
Yeah. And both servicemen, that's Peniston and Burroughs, have been denied access to their medical records from the Department of Veteran Affairs.
Okay, that's suspicious.
It is suspicious. Other officers on the night of the original sighting reported seeing something as well. They were stationed at the weapons storage area, and they claimed to have seen a mothership with small objects dispersing from it.
Hashtag single mothership life.
Yeah. For Jim Peniston, one of the original officers who saw the lights, things got weirder when he visited a hypnotherapist in 1994. Remember, that is 14 years after this incident occurred, while seeking help for a sleep disorder. During a regression, he revealed that he'd received a series of numbers telepathically during his Rendlesham experience.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
What's that from?
Call of Duty Black Ops, the first one.
Oh.
The numbers, Mason.
I feel like I should know that because that's one that I actually watched my brother play. I think I might have played a few rounds.
But that was before they put in the iconic character of John Black Ops into Black Ops.
We did also mostly play Black Ops Zombies, which is terrifying. But anyway, so he's quoted as saying, "They are time travelers. They are us."
Spaceman from Pluto moment?
Yeah, again. So it means that this was not aliens who sent those numbers, or at least aliens as we know them to be.
That's what they mean, Mason. Time travel.
Yeah. And remember how I was saying earlier how he touched the craft and he said it was smooth and metallic?
Yeah.
Well, he stated that as he touched the craft, this is during his hypnosis, a message appeared in his mind's eye in what he believed to be Morse code. He stated, quote, "The stream of ones and zeros ran relentlessly and I was unable to see my surroundings. I was scared, though I seemed to understand it was not harmful but required. I'm not sure how long this took place. This bright light with flashing these ones in series, seconds or minutes, it seemed like a brief moment. Unable to pull my hand back, I finally had it release my hand. As quickly as the release of my hand from the triangle, the ones and zeros stopped." Allegedly, he wrote the series of numbers down in a notebook a few days later. However, I'm calling bullshit on this, and this comes down to some psych shit that I know. I don't think that
fancy degree over here.
What's that?
Fuck you.
I was gonna say, what's the
fancy
TikTok
pants Rich McGee over here. Fuck you.
So I don't think you'd be able to remember all the numbers in their order a few days later. We know from studying memory and psychology.
I can't even remember numbers from 5 minutes ago when I'm at work and I'm writing purchase orders. I'm like, oh fuck, what's the cost again? After I just looked at it for a minute straight a minute ago.
Yeah, and at my clinic, everybody's given a 6-digit number. That's how we identify patients. That's 6 digits and I can't fucking remember that. I have to go back and look 4 different times.
The numbers, Mason, they can't be remembered.
And it's because we, as our memory allows us to see remember more of a sequence that's at the beginning and the end. The middle of your sequence is the hardest part to remember. So I just don't think that he'd be able to write that out. But I digress. Apparently in 2010, Peniston was at a documentary shoot about the Rendlesham incident when he revealed the decoded message.
Oh, what was it?
Well, I'm not going to write all of it here because, truthfully, it's just a lot of numbers.
But what do they mean?
Well, some of it's been decoded.
Okay. By who?
I don't know.
Was it by the guy who got the numbers?
Maybe.
So he determined what...
I don't actually know.
God, this is Zodiac Killer all over again. I thought we were done with this shit.
Yeah, so it says... Exploration of Humanity 666-8100. Then it's a list of coordinates.
Uh-huh.
Then it's continuous for planetary advan? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yo, they're going to run ads on the planet.
Advans in all caps. The fourth line is fourth coordinate continuous UQS C lowercase b uppercase PR before. And then another line of a bunch of coordinates. Line 6 is eyes of your eyes. Line 7 is origin dash and then a bunch of coordinates. And then line 8 is origin year 8100. The coordinates are reportedly locations of places that have a lot of suspected UFO lore, including the Nazca Lines of Peru, the Great Pyramid in Giza, and Sedona, Arizona.
Goddamn classic Sedona, Arizona. Well, who... You didn't get who decoded this?
Yeah, no, I did not get... I probably could have found it if I searched hard enough, but I didn't read it in any of the books. It might have been him, which would be suspicious.
Oh, yeah. I mean... I would love to know how this is decoded because I really don't. I don't know. All this seems crazy. Gobbledygook is what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, you haven't watched it, but it just makes me think of the Smiling Friends episode where Mr. Ross goes, and starts like freaking out because he's good. I'm oogly good. And he starts going fucking crazy. And that's what this guy makes me think of. It's the boss from Smiling Friends.
Okay.
You know nothing that I'm talking about, though.
No, I don't know anything about Smiling Friends other than what you have forced upon me.
It's a good show.
It's fucking stupid.
But gasp! The Smiling Friends are now owned by Satan.
I don't
The Netflix deal, which is, I think it's raising monopoly. Oh, no matter who bought it, I think we're monopolizing shit. And not even the cool version of Monopoly, not the board game type.
We're always trying to monopolize shit. That's what this fucking capitalistic country is about.
I love when capitalism sucks so much.
Woo. So, in the book, Encounters in Rendlesham Forest, Peniston reports that he now suffers from PTSD from the event, and he's quoted as saying, "I left the forest a different man. I was in awe of the technology, and yes, unknowing that it was not an aircraft, which could have been manufactured in 1980 or even now." So he's sticking with it. That it's not a human craft that we've been able to manufacture in this timeline. It's from time travelers.
When did he make that comment?
I think it was like later in 2010s. Around when he was a part of filming this documentary, I'm pretty sure. Now, for some possible counter evidence or rebuttal, however you want to look at it. Retired Ministry of Defense official Nick Pope, who also did investigations on UFOs.
In relation to the Pope?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
He's actually the author of Encounter in the Rendlesham Forest, the book that I was just quoting. He reports that the binary code that Peniston reports is likely the most controversial piece of evidence, as it seems like it's, quote, out of a sci-fi movie.
It really does seem like out of a sci-fi movie, especially like, there's no way you're remembering all those numbers afterwards.
Yeah, it's like Morse code numbers and stuff like that. I don't know. So I would agree. British skeptic Ian Ridpath believes the incident may have been an ordinary explanation, or may have an ordinary explanation. Reportedly, the initial sighting coincided with the timing of an unusually bright fireball that streaked across the southern England sky. The tape's been transcribed by a researcher, like by him, and he actually, like, you can go listen to it, like an audio download and a step-by-step analysis of the entire contents of the tape. So this skeptic, like, transcribed the entire tape that Halt had, and then you can see, like, step-by-step how this guy picks it apart. I did not listen to that. It's just an option if you would like to.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to listen to that myself.
That's fine.
I do like when there is a plausible, like, thing like that, because some people could always say maybe that fireball was a UFO.
Yeah.
Or maybe it wasn't.
Yep.
The only time I think where, like, something like that does have a tangible thing was, like, Kecksburg. If we go back to that, something, like, something streaked across the sky. We know for a fact that something did crash into the Earth. Like, that is an undisputed fact that a Soviet satellite did crash on that day, that something was seen burning through the sky on that day, and that some reported, I guess a trajectory it shouldn't have landed in PA for the Kecksburg one. But that's still debated, I guess. I don't know. But, like, this here, like a fireball, we have no evidence that it actually landed anywhere.
Yeah. Ridpath also suggests that the lights could have been from the Orford Ness Lighthouse. He states the immediate area was swept by powerful light beams from a landing beacon at Raff Bentwaters and the Orford Ness Lighthouse. I know from personal experience that at night, in certain weather and cloud conditions, these beams can be very pronounced and certainly cause strange visual effects. Which is a very solid explanation, in my opinion.
You're not building a good case for the Rendlesham incident.
In 1997, Scottish researcher James Easton obtained the original witness statements made by those who were there at the first night sightings. One of the witnesses, who was one of the servicemen I mentioned earlier, Ed Cavensog, said in his statement, quote, "We figured the lights were coming from past the forest since nothing was visible when we passed through the woody forest. We would see a glowing light near the beacon light, but as we got closer, we found it to be a lit-up farmhouse. We got to a vantage point where we could determine that what we were chasing was only a beacon of light off in the distance." Another serviceman, John Burroughs, one of the guys who was, quote, debriefed, according to Holt, stated, "Well, we could see a beacon going around, so we went towards it. We followed it for about 2 miles before we could see that it was coming from a lighthouse."
Okay, so you're still hurting the UFO case.
Yep, I'm going to hurt it even more.
Oh, man.
Timings on the on Holt's tape recording during his sighting on December 28th indicate that the light that he saw lay in the same direction as the light seen 2 nights earlier, which, if it's correct to what these guys are saying, is the light of the lighthouse.
You know, if I ain't mistaken, lighthouses don't have legs, right?
No.
Therefore, they cannot move, so if it's the same direction, makes sense. Unless somehow lighthouses have evolved to grow legs. Which,
I don't think so.
Fish at one point evolved to grow legs. Maybe lighthouses did too.
Fair, I guess.
It's simple evolution here, okay? Fish get legs, fish walk. Lighthouse get leg, lighthouse walk now.
Okay. Anyway, the light flashed every 5 seconds on the tape, which is the flash rate of the Orford Nest Lighthouse.
Yikes, it's looking maybe like a lighthouse here.
Yep.
Maybe they say there's lighthouse ghosts. Maybe this is just a lighthouse alien. Maybe this is an alien lighthouse.
Maybe it's a lighthouse ghost that's just playing a trick pretending to be an alien.
Are there alien ghosts out there?
Oh, there's gotta be. They die too.
Or do they?
Fair. Guess we don't know because we haven't talked to them.
Or have we?
Also fair.
I don't have another question to follow that up with.
This is also corroborated by the Suffolk police detective's log from the morning of December 26th. 2 officers from the Suffolk police that were called to the scene on the night of the initial sighting, and again the following morning, found nothing unusual. On the night of the initial incident, they reported that the only lights visible were from the Orford Nest Lighthouse, and they attributed the indentations in the ground to animals, stating that they were, quote, of no depth and could have been made by an animal. I did not read anywhere what animal that could have been, though.
Now, what did the indentations look like? It was a triangle, 3 spots in the shape of a triangle. That's all that's ever been that I found described. Okay, because if they aren't that far apart, it's
10 feet. They said that the craft was 10 feet wide.
Okay, it could be an animal. I could see it.
Yeah. Paul did acknowledge in a later interview that he and the other servicemen in the search group had seen the lighthouse beam while in the forest. However, he says that this beam was in addition to the mysterious lights that the men saw in the sky. He is quoted as saying, "It wasn't the lighthouse. You ever see a lighthouse move through the forest?"
Maybe it grew legs.
And I wrote,
back to what I said.
Which honestly, fair point. So you were on the right path there with your thoughts, which is hilarious to me. In June 2010, retired Colonel Charles Hart. In June 2010, Charles Hart, our guy here, signed a notarized affidavit in which he again summarized what had happened, then stated he believed the event to be extraterrestrial and that it had been covered up by both the UK government and the US government.
Is this the numbers guy?
No.
A time travel guy?
No.
Different guy.
Yeah, this is the deputy base commander colonel.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to remember which guy is which.
He was the head honcho who saw the lights. The other guys were underneath him.
The sheriff in town.
Kinda. Contradictions between this affidavit and the facts as recorded at the time in Holt's own memo and tape have been pointed out by a lot of skeptics, so whatever he said in the interview in 2010 doesn't match up with his memo or his tape from the 80s, from 1980.
Okay. Maybe If he was purposely silenced, he probably would have said something.
Yeah. Shortly after that, base commander Colonel Ted Conrad, that was the guy who replaced like the extra head honcho and the one who like released Halt's tape and stuff. He provided a statement stating, quote, "We saw nothing that resembled Lieutenant Colonel Holt's descriptions, either in the sky or on the ground, and that, quote, we had people in position to validate Holt's narrative, but none of them could."
Interesting.
In an interview, Conrad criticized Holt for the claims in his affidavit, saying, quote, "He should be ashamed and embarrassed by his allegation that his country and Britain both conspired to deceive their citizens over this issue. He knows better." I do not agree with that.
What?
That, like, he should be ashamed and embarrassed by alleging that his country would cover up something to, like, deceive the citizens. That's the government's whole fucking job, apparently.
It's part of it. Can't let them know everything.
Yeah, but, like, I mean,
I'm not going to say, and this is actually an argument I got, and I've been saying in r/cryptozoology this week, is about governments lie about absolutely everything or almost everything. It's like, just because it doesn't agree with your viewpoint doesn't mean they hide quite literally everything. There's a good amount they hide, but like, don't say it's almost everything. And don't say that's the only thing they do, because that's not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm making an overgeneralization.
I know, but like, it was so fucking, like, it nothing to do with you, but so fucking annoying the people on the cryptozoology subreddit, how fucking dumb they were. I mean, they were outnumbered by the people like, "You're crazy." But like, oh my god, it's just so dumb. They're like, "Do you think the government covers up Bigfoot?" Yes, they lie about nearly everything, so obviously they do. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Idiots.
Conrad also disputed the testimony of Sergeant Jim Peniston. He was the one who claimed to have touched the spacecraft and had the binary numbers, like in the Morse code and stuff.
He
said
the
that
numbers guy.
Yeah, Conrad said that he interviewed Peniston at the time, and he had not, like, at the time of the incident, and he had not mentioned any such occurrence happening during that incident. So,
I mean,
I guess I could understand why he would say that that's evidence for this not happening.
Yeah.
But also, if it had to come out while he was hypnotized, it's possible his body was like, "No fucking way are we remembering this shit in our consciousness."
But like, he was like, all I could think about was the numbers. I was a different guy. I'm like, I don't like the number thing. Really hurts this.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're remembering fucking binary.
Fair. Conrad also suggested that the entire incident might have been a hoax, which I will get into some of the theories in a second here of why it's a hoax. The Suffolk Constabulary, which I guess is like the police department, file on the case was released in 2005 under the Freedom of Information Act, and it can be accessed on the website as of the writing of Wikipedia, which is one of my major sources here. I don't know if it's still accessible under this administration.
Who knows?
Yeah.
The administration doesn't give a shit about rule of law or truth.
Yeah. It includes a letter dated July 28th of 1999, written by Inspector Mike Topless. I don't really know who he is in this whole situation, but he...
What's his last name?
Topless.
Topless? Dude, how the fuck is he still... Did he get a job if he doesn't wear a top when he goes to work?
I don't know. But he notes that one of the police constables who attended the scene on the first night returned to the site in the daylight in case he had missed something. But he says there was nothing to be seen, and he remains unconvinced that the occurrence was genuine.
Yeah, ain't looking good for the believers.
Yeah. And in terms of hoaxes, there have been many claims of hoaxes around this incident, including that a retired military cop, Kevin Conde, C-O-N-D-E, was playing a joke by messing with his police car lights and moving through the forest and blinking them. Though this was never confirmed to have happened on the actual night of the sightings. This did happen. This guy admitted to doing that.
Really?
But no one... Like, I didn't read anywhere, and I was reading in most sources, that it's never been confirmed that it actually happened on the night of the 26th or the 28th.
But he'd done it other times.
Yep.
Before it.
Yep, and around it.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Some tomfoolery to be had. All these lookers.
Off to commit some tomfoolery, just like the shirt I wore the other day. Which literally said off to commit tomfoolery with a raccoon riding a duck.
Tomfoolery is a serious crime. Please report it when you see it.
Yep. Got caught being too silly.
Dare I say silly goose on the loose?
Oh yeah, I guess it wasn't a duck, it was a goose. My god. Anyway. There was vengeful Special Air Service officers coordinating an elaborate orchestration of lights, flares, and remote-controlled balloons. I don't really know why they were vengeful, though.
Who knows?
Well, reportedly, they were. There was also the thought that it could have been a secretive mind control experience involving sophisticated holograms and weaponized ball lighting, which, like, is described as not being hoax. It's described as why it would be a hoax, is that the government was doing a mind control experience to see how people would react.
Okay there, pal.
Yeah. There is also the theory that it was a downed Soviet satellite sent to spy on the US occupied bases. But again, no evidence of this has been found to support this claim.
You're still in prime Soviet existence.
Yeah, and I do think that, like, I feel like so many things are just blamed on a Soviet satellite that gets downed.
Yep.
Which just tells me they have, like,
Typically, if
terrible
a
technology.
we can track which Soviet satellite went down. Bringing me back to Kecksburg again. We know for a fact that a Soviet satellite did go down that day.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not a secret one of these typically went down back then. So I don't have much faith in that.
Ridpath, so the skeptic that I mentioned earlier, also reported that investigating forestry workers identified the tree markings as cuts made by other foresters. And as for the strangeness of the radiation measurements, Ridpath claims that they really were nothing more than background levels, meaning that they did not have any real significance. Ridpath goes on to state that, quote, confirmation that this was only background radiation comes from the fact that the same levels were also recorded over a half-mile away from the supposed landing site after they had crossed 2 fields beyond the forest. At its most basic, the case comes down to the misinterpretation of a series of nocturnal lights, a fireball, a lighthouse, and some stars. Reportedly, one of the lights seen, located to the south, matched the position of Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. I also saw a report that it could have been natural.
What color Sirius, though? Is it black?
I also saw a report that it could have been natural debris from space that created a meteor that came to Earth, hence the fireball theory. So, I suppose that's what was happening. One of the servicemen, the same who stated they'd seen the beam from the lighthouse, John Burroughs, reported a noise, quote, like a woman was screaming, and also that, quote, you could hear the farm animals making a lot of noises. Holt heard the same noises 2 nights later. Such noise, though, could have been made, and you'll have to tell me if you know what this is. A muntjac deer?
No idea.
Muntjac? Muntjac deer in the forest, which are known for their loud, shrill bark when they're alarmed.
No.
So it's possible that it wasn't the shriek of a human at all, but rather an animal. What would have made that animal shriek? That I don't know. It could have been them. It's like those series of events could have been like light. Then they go into the forest to investigate. That's when they hear the screams. So maybe those animals were startled by the people coming to investigate. Who really knows? In December of 2018, David Clark, a British UFO researcher, reported a claim that the incident was set up by the Special Air Service, again, like our Air Force, but for the Brits, as a revenge plot on the US Air Force. So I think this is that vengeful sort of story, which I didn't mean to disconnect them. According to this story, in August of 1980, the SAS parachuted into, which is the Special Air Service, parachuted into the Raft Woodbridge to test the security at the nuclear site. The United States Air Force had recently upgraded their radar and detected the black parachutes of the SAS men as they descended to the base. The SAS troops were interrogated and beaten up, with the ultimate insult that they were called, quote, unidentified aliens.
Yo, SAS troops being called unidentified aliens did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah. To enact the revenge, the SAS, quote, gave the USAF their own version of an alien event. As December approached, lights and colored flares were rigged in the woods. Black helium balloons were also coupled to remote-controlled kites to carry suspended materials into the sky, activated by radio controls.
That would be the funniest prank, honestly.
Yeah, it was confirmed later that this was actually itself also a hoax.
Damn.
Just a made-up story. And then remember our friend Thurkettle, the forester who was questioned by the two men in suits?
Yeah.
Yeah, best explanation for that is they were quite literally just local journalists who had heard about the rumors from the police.
I've
who
never
were called
heard
out to the base.
I've never heard of a journalist dressed nice in my life. They're all a bunch of kooks.
Lastly here, as I finish up, impacts, pulp culture, etc. In 2005, the Forestry Commission used proceeds from their lottery to create a trail in the forest because of public interest in being able to safely navigate to the supposed crash site. They nicknamed the trail UFO Trail.
Really?
That is literally the most unoriginal name I've ever heard.
You got it. Out of this world trail, I don't know. UFO trail, that's all it is?
Yep. In 2014, they commissioned an artist to create a sculpture of the incident, and it was installed at the end of the trail. The artist states the piece is modeled on sketches that reportedly represent some versions of the UFO claimed to have been seen at Rendlesham. You can look that up, it's pretty big. There have been more incidents of unexplained lights and UFOs in England and Rendlesham Forest since 1980. Only a few years ago, a dog walker posted a video of bright moving unidentified lights in the sky above the forest, filmed alongside a RAF helicopter. There was also another witness who stated that they saw a, quote, glowing reddish ball, and there's reportedly a documentary on the incident that was released earlier this year called Capel Green.
Where's that on?
I don't remember. It's on. We have the streaming site that it's on now, I think.
Okay, well, check that out, maybe.
Yeah. In 2014, a film titled The Rendlesham UFO Incident was released based on the events. And then the Rendlesham Forest Incident is incorporated into BBC Radio 4's 2019 adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's The Whisperer in Darkness, where the event is dramatized in the second episode.
Oh.
Which is a very weird place, I think, to put a dramatization of...
Connected with H.P. Lovecraft, too.
Yeah. But yeah.
Don't look up the name of his cat.
I don't want to know. But that's what I have for you. What are your thoughts?
The numbers man really fucking did it in for me, and some of the other stuff. I think this is misidentification.
I agree, unfortunately.
And the numbers man really tried to run with it, make a name for himself out of it.
Yeah. That sucks.
The numbers Mason.
I wanted it to believe.
What do they mean?
I wanted to believe.
Are you a believer?
No. I don't think I ever was. Well, that's all I have for you if you don't have any other thoughts.
No, I'm... Wait, which did you say you think it was?
I think that it's just a misinterpretation of the lighthouse with
maybe
the
that one guy
stars and
driving
stuff
through too.
Yeah.
I can't... like, the fact that they can definitely say, at least before and after that guy was doing that shit, it really fucks with, like, the believability on it.
Yeah. Certainly. So... But yeah, that's where we are with our December episode. We're trying to pick things that happened in this month or are Christmas related.
Yeah, next week is going to be some true crime again because you guys have not gone nearly enough of that lately. All right, so anything else you got to say?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right, well, I think it's time I wrap us out of here.
Alrighty. Wrap us out of here?
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that I made a Christmas joke.
I was quoting because I thought you meant wrap us up, not wrap us out of here.
Oh yeah, wrap us up.
But yes, Christmas joke.
Yeah, jingle jangle my holly jolly bells.
I was like, what rhymes? Like, Oh my god.
I do think I'll give room service a jangle.
Jingle jangle. Don't fondle my bangles.
What?
Please take that part out.
I'll think about it. All right. Back to this. I think it was time to sign us off. So if you like what you're listening to, go follow us on our socials. Go give us a like, follow, rate, review, subscribe, whatever you like, whatever you're listening to. Every little bit matters. That's why our wrap looks so good this year. We really appreciate it. All the support that you guys have given us. So please keep supporting the gang. Help us out here. Go follow us on our socials, our Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And if you're like what you're seeing, go tell your friends, family, person you see on the street. Go to them and be like, hey, you gotta listen to Unknown, Unsolved, Unseen. And viciously tell them.
Please do it consensually.
Just grab the person by the shoulder and shake them. Tell them that they gotta watch us.
I do not recommend doing that. Also, don't watch us because we have nothing to watch. Just listen.
Watch our Instagram. Watch us in our sleep.
Let's sign off here before it gets weird.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming here and checking us out. We will see you guys in a week as we cover a mysterious true crime case of some missing children. Apparently, that's the only type of true crime that Frank covers.
Woo.
All right. So later, my alligators, thank you for coming. And remember
to look for
the unknown,
the unseen,
and the unseen.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys. Watch out for walking lighthouses.